I think we should get into the game.
We are into the game. Wind and Rain are going to be banning here. I forgot to wear my flat cap. No! Oh, I was told I was allowed to wear my flat cap, you see. And I didn't wear it, and now I've missed my opportunity. It is going to be a Thatcher ban coming out for Wind and Rain here. Now Unnamed have the ban on attack. What do you make of that Thatcher ban?
That's something that we see sometimes, something that may not be as common as you would expect. But yeah, Thatcher, typically what that kind of tells us that Wind and Rain, they're going to go for the mute jammer trick, which is something that you can do that we actually previously did see Barrage try and attempt to in the second game of tonight, where it's kind of where you deny every bit of access onto that main lobby hatch with those mute jammers. But as you can see, the very standard and common bans being established by Unnamed will be that Lion and also will be that Mira as well.
Sorry, can you repeat that last ban again?
No.
Damn.
You can.
I won't, because he'll take another penny away from my fee every time I say.
You must be on about 0 at this stage.
You just said 2 pennies. Oh no. Oh god. Regardless, there are the lineups that have been locked in. Mira and Echo, very popular defensive bans coming out here. So we won't be seeing Mira, who I think has actually been the most banned operator. I think Mira probably has been the most banned operator throughout the night. I think she's been banned in 3 of our 4 matches. We only saw her in 1, which was Oregon on the 2nd series. Hibana, Dokkaebi, Zafia, Sledge, and Blackbeard in the reveal phase here for Unnamed, and it's going to be Jaeger, Vigil, Maestro, Bandit, and Smoke. Now, there is the opportunity to switch out to an IQ potentially if you're really worried about the Vigil, but regardless, it is going to be Vigil locked in, which is the first Vigil of the night that we've seen as well.
Yeah, so Vigil does provide a lot of that roam potential in that roam game, so I would imagine that we're going to be seeing a very heavy meeting hall control coming out from the players of Wind and Rain. I would say this is a pretty big test for Wind and Rain. They're going against some of their old foes that they did play against inside last season, which is going to be previously known as Team Enix, but only 2 of them actually have moved on, which is going to be Mac and Madman. Madman, of course, being the MVP from last season. And then you do also have Juggers, Tank, and Meads, all very respectable players. You know, Challenger League experience there as well with the majority of them. You know, a big team to definitely try and challenge for that playoff potential, or maybe if they can go all the way, go ahead and take that top 2 spot, which at the moment it is going to be Guidance Gaming sitting there right up at the top. The only way that I believe yet, even after this match, if Unnamed go ahead and win, they will still be sat at the top of the leaderboard, so Guidance Gaming already being that 2-point lead, potentially.
It's going to be a basement defense here coming out on Oregon for the first time, and it is Wind and Rain setting up for that. Let's see where Unnamed go. Unnamed have already got access very easily into the building here. Not faced much as they head through the kitchen area, so they have the immediate overhead. Do have to be scared of Vigil though. Vigil is one of those operators that you always have to be aware of. He will be around on the map, and when he activates his perk, he'll be able to slip by a lot of those surveillance tools that the Unnamed roster have available to them.
First Logic Bomb will also be dispensed by the players of Unnamed. That is going to be kind of the substitute for the Lion that potentially could have been used, but certainly Dokkaebi still has that universal effect, which is kind of, you know, that similar wavelength of the way Lion plays out. Certainly Melons can provide, you know, a lot of damage if you know, the drones are not going to be sent in by the players of Unnamed, who are taking a very long time to actually set up their breach in towards the meeting hall. Typically we see that done a little bit faster, but again, at their own pace.
Here comes the breach now. Vigil, Melons just waiting for that pick. He has got an angle held there as Juggernaut picks up the first kill onto Pat. There's the shot, and Vigil forced to move very quickly as Melons goes down to tank Ninjas. And now Juggernaut as well, moving forward and further into this this matchup, as Wind and Rain have already lost 2. Meads now into that basement area. Has that Blackbeard entry, so we'll have that shield to provide a little bit extra protection for him as he does. Dowie now just with the C4 looking to try and pick up a quick kill.
Gig also has the majority of his gas casters available. First one, I believe, will be cooked and fired out. See if those toxic babes can try and delay the round just that little bit more. Also, C4 being ready to be tossed out by Dowie as well. But still 50 seconds on the clock, plenty of time for Unnamed to work with, especially whenever 3 players are only going to be that stands in front of them for the defuse. You can see the gas caster will be baited out by Mac very smartly. They know how much time they have. However, Giggs will respond with a kill onto Tank Ninjas. They know exactly where he is. If only Madman would potentially get a fry cooked, then that would be a very simple kill for him.
Now 4 versus 3. Hibana now moving into the basement. 22 seconds to go. Plenty of strong defense there as Madman gets a kill onto Gigski. He's now going to try and take the angle here. And again, Madman reads it so well, gets a 2-4, looking for the third. Madman gets the third! And that is another big clutch mark, MVP of the previous season. And the first win on the board goes over to Unnamed. Just read that so well, Madman did.
Yeah, you're expecting that from your main entry fragger in the form of a sledge. Didn't really do much entry work, but still came in big whenever he needed to be, and it does put off things right for Unnamed. And looking at Wind and Rain, wow, they are going very, very cocky with a rear stage and big tower defense from them. I'm interested to see what kind of prep these guys have done with this. Wind and Rain, they also have a coach and an analyst backing them up inside of their campaign, so potentially they could do a big bit of work for this team and help them out.
This is the first time that we've seen a tower defense at all on Oregon so far today. It's one that's been avoided by most teams. It is has its difficulties. You know, there are lots of ways to get into tower. Obviously, very few ways from the main building to move into that position, but scaling from the outside, it's so easy to get those window entries as well, because it's such a small area for you to have to try and prepare. And there isn't really many other sort of defense points that you have apart from directly on tower itself. Meeting room is obviously a big one, but we'll have to see how this pans out for them. This is the first time we've seen this defense operated here for Wind and Rain, or by any team today on Oregon. How does this usually shape out?
Well, at the minute, Wind and Rain going all in with their extended holds. Not just the big tower and rear watch stage will be defended, but also the top of the attic in towards those bedroom areas and also in towards the kitchen. So pretty much, I would say at least 70% of the map is going to be defended by the players of Wind and Rain. This is really overextending yourself, potentially a little too much for my liking, as it would be very simple for the players of Unnamed to simply go for the big tower attack, enter in through the rear stage and really play those window games. And as you can see, everybody's going to be scattered around the majority of these anchor positions that they will be holding. This is going to be a bit of a rough one for Wind and Rain, because they're really singling themselves out to not really have that refrag potential, where if you're going to work as a roaming duo, you're kind of working as a two. If somebody dies, you then have the other teammate to follow up and get the refrag. By these guys playing just by themselves, they can be very susceptible by, a potential push in from the Sophia on Jugger. And also, if you combo that with the drones and all of the intel that, of course, those Dokkaebi phone calls can provide, then yeah, that's going to look pretty scary for Wind and Rain.
First kill goes to the Tank Ninjas. He takes down Gigski, who's again picked off very early on into the round. Looks like a logic bomb's going out already here, and that's going to be the initial push that they need. That provides a bit of space now for the Unnamed roster to make a move. As Jugger gets picked off on the outside, Melons gets the pick onto Juggernauts there, but Meads trades very quickly a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, which keeps that man advantage in favor of Unnamed. Spreading very thin across the map is as Meads now looking for some of those angles.
Wind and Rain still very spread out in their defense. As you can see, Dawi has rotated himself back in towards the bomb site. Pat playing at the top tier at that big tower, and Speeds has took that mid floor, so it kind of, 3 levels of defense, but then again, they don't have that same refrag potential, where they are split off very, very much so to each other. With still plenty of time to go for Unnamed, they will start using that hard destruction that they have at their available. And then also you can see Madman really hasn't moved from the top of this attic roof, trying to find any picks that he potentially can. Almost finds out Pat, who was just going for an aggressive peek, but still all in favor of Unnamed, but maybe not so much, as Dawi has picked up a kill onto Meads as he did peek in towards that meeting hall. Madman rotated, gets rid of the castle barricade quite easily and trying to look for the angles that, as you can see, Wind and Rain have opened up to try and use against them, but in this circumstance, it more than likely will work against them.
Time starting to tick down for Unnamed. They still have a 3-3 at this point in time. Madman still trying to hold these angles, gives his position away. You can see and Rain roster do know where he is at this point in time. He's going to peek, he gets the leg shot there, but not quite able to convert, and immediately now has that position on the bomb site, so the defuse can come down. There's another logic bomb going down there, and now that gives the opportunity to, as another climb through the window immediately into, as Mac and Madman help pick up the kill. Tank Ninjas also picks it off. Madman gets another, and that is going to be another win now for the Unnamed roster. As
you can see, just too many angles that the players of Unnamed, or should I say Wind and Rain, have to worry about. Is, you know, Unnamed, they had the crossfires, they had the man advantage, and just Wind and Rain just spreading themselves so thin where they cannot get that refrag potential, which was shown. Just really, I don't know why they're going so in-depth with their way they're trying to hold over towards the kids and also the kitchen, and then also the meat in the attic. So many things that you need to try and defend for this that you just don't have enough utility, nor do you have the manpower really to take control of that. Sure, it may be something that they've worked on and it's worked in scrims, but I'm sure they probably haven't scrimmed on Name too. Probably just seen the weak points inside of that defense and they took full advantage of it.
We use this downtime going into the next round to just highlight something from the previous series. I think I forgot to mention it before we came in. A lot of people were sending in messages about the rule set and whether you could sub someone in during a game. And a lot of people quoting the Pro League rule set, which is not the rule set that the Premiership uses. It is very, very okay. It's completely within the rules to sub in someone into your roster if they're a registered sub for your team at any point during a match. So that was a legal sub to make in the previous game, although it did end up in a draw anyway, regardless. Just wanted to clarify that for anybody in Twitch chat and the rest of the people that were commenting and asking why that it was sort of against the rules. It was not against the rules, different rule book for the Premiership compared to the Pro League.
So moving on into another defense for Wind and Rain, going to opt for that downstairs once more. Last time it just didn't work for them. The players of Unnamed were able to get the picks and just kind of just scavenge anything they could, and then in the final couple of dying seconds of the round, Madman performed very big for them. We'll see if it will be the kind of similar story for Wind and Rain, or will they finally, you know, get their head out of the sand and kind of front up against this Unnamed force who are very strong and very aggressive. You can see, you know, the power that Dokeby has in combination with the drones, and whenever you have very strong fraggers following up on that, then it is extremely hard for even the defense to get a look in to actually win one.
Right now, Unnamed have looked like the better roster on the attack here. Wind and Rain have really been struggling. That tower defense didn't really work in their favor. They have now switched back to the basement, it looks like. Something that almost worked out for them. Again, a Madman clutch kind of sealed that one out, and he has been a really standout player for Unnamed. Again, I mean, you would expect, but he's been good. I mean, to be good across both Xbox and PC at that same kind of level, really solid. I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy go towards Challenger or Pro League in the future. He's got a bright future ahead of him in Rainbow Six especially.
So it seems to be that Unnamed aren't really interested in taking the fight all too soon. Still plenty of players upstairs for Wind and Rain, only the Smoke and Maestro on the actual hard anchor positions. Pat upstairs and Attic can play very aggressive on the drop hatch. Also can bandit trick any potential X-Kairos pellets that Mac may want to use. I believe it's going to be, you know, really one of the first games where we haven't seen Thermite being picked very religiously. Instead, Habana is certainly going to be that option that Unnamed they're going to try and opt for. They will instead try and ignore the rumors as much as they can. First, Logic Bomb will be deployed, and you can see the follow-up ready to be applied by these members of Unnamed, but still just holding their grounds. As you can see, what I was talking about with that mute trick will try and be established, but then again, Maids can easily pick that. Mac has been down, peeking that angle. Melons manages to land the down, but that's all he really can do. Gives himself an out with that drop hatch, but still plenty of time for Unnamed to make this push work, bait out all of the utility, and potentially get a couple of picks as well.
Wind and Rain have been a bit more solid in the defense this time around, haven't given away anything too early, which has been one of their problems, especially for Gigski. He's unfortunately been one of the follies, although I say that Melons goes down immediately, the Vigil goes down, and suddenly the roam potential, the worry, the always looking behind your shoulder, that's now gone for Unnamed. They can be a bit more aggressive and a bit more forward in their pressure, although a lot of damage has been done. As Gigski actually trades back to Madman, that's a big trade up actually, just in given performance, and Gigski actually picks up a 2-4 in this situation, which is a massive, as I was just talking about him. And suddenly Wind and Rain put themselves in a really solid position as Unnamed actually take it down to a 2-for-2. in all this time, I actually don't know how this happened. All this time, Tank Ninjas has managed to pick off member after member. The Diffuser has ended up going down, and now it is a 1 versus 2 with about 5% HP. This does not look good for Wind and Rain. Angles are being covered from the upstairs here, right onto that Diffuser bomb site. I really feel like this is going to be difficult for Dowie to do. Yeah,
that's why I said where they had plenty of time to beat out all of the utility. Sure, they lose a couple of members in it, but eventually all of that displacement that the players do have available for themselves, and Tank, another kill for him, playing so big on the Dokkaebi, covered the flank rotations from Pat, who I actually thought was going to come in pretty big there, but no. Dokkaebi had the angles, they knew that potentially a flank could have been coming out, they were right with their feelings, and then Wind and Rain just back into the ditch they go, just Unnamed, leaving them for dead really. There's nothing that Wind and Rain can really do to break through this. It was very, very close, but like I said, the utility ran out and just everything kind of ran out for Wind and Rain. The steam just started to fall back, and Unnamed, they picked up the pace, and really from there it was game, set, and watch the diffuser.
I felt that was a chance for Wind and Rain. I felt that there was a real chance for them in that situation. They looked like they'd managed to trade up a couple of times, a couple of 2-4s in the early game, but unfortunately they weren't able to get past the pressure from Tank Ninja and that Dokkaebi. Reveal phase comes through. Let's see if there are any changes. Madman looks like he's changed over to Ying, who has been another popular ban on the attacking side. And Ying coming through this time round to give them some entry pressure.
Locate and defuse bombs.
And not that they need it, they've been doing pretty well without needing the extra entry pressure so far. And those Candelas will start to have a lot of zone control, especially on Kids Dorm, where there are limited areas to find those entries. Those Candelas can help find that initial breach point.
So I would imagine that Unnamed will try and play this, you know, just kind of their play style. They have the Blackbeard, which can be very good in that main double window to try and deny all of those rotation accesses to the defense of Wind and Rain. They seem to be going for more of an aggressive play style. As you can see, trying to hold that kitchen away from potentially a butt could come in and really devastate the majority of that vertical flooring, but no, as you can see, Unnamed, no butt for them, but still Wind and Rain, this provides them with that kind of rotation potential, can really opt a lot of, you know, changes for them, can also, you know, use that bailiff that Maestro has, or even, you know, the shotgun that also Smoke brings to the table to open up those vertical sight lines, you know, right below of those kids' bedroom window, try and deny the access in terms of that position. As you can see, Jugger trying to see if he can find an angle through in towards the dining, but no, doesn't see anything. Tries to get the Claymore prep for potential run out, so this definitely does scream a big tower, and you know, these kids' windows is what the players of Unnamed are going to try and opt for. Speed still has those, you know, that Maestro available, so he can provide a lot of intel for any potential Candelas, can be very good. Because you can't flash the camera, of course, you can only just sit there and watch everything happen from that bulletproof camera. Mac doing a bit of droning as well. This is kind of the first stage for Unnamed, figure out where the majority of the defense will be, and certainly it will be in that downstairs area.
Slower pace this time right now for Unnamed. And again, no one, I think it looks like Wind and Rain are improving round upon round. No one giving away early kills. Just trying to shore up that first minute, which is really important because in the first minute they often had someone that's too far out of position. Their Roamer often getting picked off very early. And once that Roamer goes down, especially on defense, you lose a lot of that ability to find flanks. You can see those nades coming in as actually, that was a really awkward time there. The grenade dropped right in front, and that is, what the hell has actually happened? Suddenly the entire team got cleaned up. I was literally talking, and in the space of 3 words, they destroyed the entire team of one Candela. What on earth was that?
Well, that's just the strikes that Dokkaebi and Ying bring to the table. That's why I said where the crossfires were going to be established. Mac outside the double window, ready for anybody to try and run away from the kid's bedroom. That was exactly the case. Candelas come in, you as a defender start to panic, you run anywhere that you think is safe, but no, the angle's being held, and certainly, look at that, Tank Ninjas and Madman both on 7 kills, 4-0 Unnamed lead against Wind and Rain with 1 more round to see if at least Wind and Rain can salvage something out of these horrific defenses.
They have not been good. That is absolutely 100% correct. But that was an absolute bloodbath in the previous round. It's almost like I didn't even see what was happening before it was too late. I mean, if it caught me off guard, I'm sure as it stood, it caught Wind and Rain off guard. Vigil comes through for Melons again, but he has not been that good on Vigil so far. Has really limited roaming potential. Hasn't really been able to catch anybody from Unnamed off. And this is the final attacking round for Unnamed. Can they go into their defensive rounds needing just one defensive victory to take this win?
So it will be one final hurrah for Wind and Rain on that bottom floor. They kind of had the same similar setup that they did have last time. I believe that they have switched out Pat from the Bandit onto those goo mines with the Legion, so providing that more of that, you know, kind of crowd control effect and that kind of sound cue and trigger that you can work with. But certainly losing the lack of bandits does make it a lot easier for a player like Mac to open up in towards the top of that attic area. Doesn't have to worry about the bandit trick. Speed still, you know, religiously picking this Maestro for good reason. Maestro very, very strong, especially whenever you're going against Dokkaebi, who can play very, very big with, you know, some of the smoke casters as well. Not really, you know, the heavy smoke that we're seeing from Unnamed. You know, Glass is still available for them, and equally so is Wind and Rain. But neither team really, I would expect to go for that kind of Glass mentality that we did see, I would say, Vex and M&M really go for.
This is the pressure on Wind and Rain right now in this situation. You have to be so careful. Actually, it looks like Vigil has pushed a little bit further back from his usual position in Meeting Room. He was a little bit further forward previously. He's actually going to move back to that forward position. This is where he gets caught out quite a lot. He's just looking for anybody that's going to overstep from that tower entry point into the meeting room.
Pat still has these goo mines available, can keep redeploying them as he does get 7 at least on the map before it does, you know, start destroying ones that you've placed down. That's the maximum goo mines you can have in one map. You can see the players of Unnamed just completely covering every single potential angle off that lobby area made to get rid of the mute jammer, exactly the same way he did last time. The Maestro camera will be able to spot him out, but really, who is going to pick the Blackbeard? I highly doubt anybody from Wind and Rain will actually do so. This is kind of where the lack of the mirror comes into big effect for the Laundry. You don't have that same crowd control effect where you can always see anybody who does go for the peek, but Maids, he will peek and he picks up the kill onto Smoke, a massive kill. So the only denial that the players of Wind and Rain will have is going to be that Nitro Cell from Dow, and that can only be used as a one-time thing.
Mad has picked up a little bit of information, some scouting here. Is shooting into what looks to be the supply closet, where I think a couple of members from Wind and Rain were trapped just earlier. There's the frag going in. Is he going to pick up the frag there? Doesn't quite get it, but Pat manages to trade back onto Max, so it's a 4 versus 4 situation right now. 1 minute to go. There is no pressure for Unnamed to rush in here. They are using that hatch. Oh, right in front, and Speeds picks up Madman. That was an opportunity to trade back 1 for 1, though. It does not happen. But the angle's still being covered really well here. A couple of shots do land, but they don't convert. And Pat manages to escape from that situation basically scot-free.
Pat should never have escaped from that location. I don't even know how he was allowed to walk towards the stairs and kill Mac in that scenario. And the punish was not there from Unnamed. That will pretty much cost them this round. They will at least attempt to go for the platform. I'm sure Pat will easily sneak his way in, but he will be covered from the hatch. Melons goes down from potential flank Jugger. He finally picks up the kill onto Pat, and Maid squares it off into basically a 1 versus 3. Tank down to extremely low HP, down to 1 HP should we say. Maid holding the angle, Jugger still upstairs along with Tank. It comes down to Down, he will meet the end of Jugger as well. I don't know how Unnamed have won that round. I'm sure Wind and Rain don't know how either. And wow, we go to round number 6, and it will be match point as we've seen the clean sweep of attacks from Unnamed.
That was some really solid smokes coming out there. Texani has been banned by BattleEye. Feels bad, man.
Poor Texani.
Poor Texani. That's what you get, mate.
Justice for Texani, chat. Hashtag justice for Texani.
I know, mate. You shouldn't be using cheats, BattleEye. It's going to get you.
Yeah, get good, bro.
I thought someone from the game had been banned there, so I was like, oh, that's awkward.
That is, yeah, it's a big oof.
I love how you get this instant feedback thing, like, oh, don't worry, guys, we've just banned this guy, so your games are just a little bit safer now, you know. But I think it was some really good smokes coming out from Tank Ninjas there to help him plant in that corner with the cover from the cover from the hatch that was in complete control from the first floor. Very little maneuvering that Wind and Rain could do, especially with those 2 perfect smokes, either side of supply closet, making angles that you had to peek through impossible for that moment.
Yeah, you can see really sectioning off Dow, who was trying to play in inside of that cupboard, and then always blocking off that double doorway is always going to be the strong point, and it's fairly simple from Jugger to just watch underneath the stairs. Pat couldn't move in that scenario. I actually thought he would have, but no, it was not the case. And Unnamed, they do have now at least 5 defense rounds they can go to, but they could end that in just one more and send Wind and Rain home with a 6-0 defeat. Wind and Rain, they will be picking up the Ying and the Capitals. This kind of tells me that they could be going for, the kids' bedroom window that we've seen Barrage go heavily for. Let's hope they don't fall into the same trap that Barrage went for and just kind of forced their way in without doing the basics right.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
But this is the pressure that you have on the attacking round now. If one member gets picked off sillily, on the outside, gets picked off by a defender roaming, that's going to create a bit of tension in the team. You need to be so careful on your offense. You can't take as many risks now, because you know that one risk that might end up losing you a member and giving the man advantage over the defensive squad means a man advantage that could lose you the entire series here. That is it. That is the pick you don't want to see. Madman bursts out the window, picks a kill on the side, and Wind and Rain down to 4 men.
I must say a round of applause for Madman. He could hear Pat run right past his window and then just wait a couple of seconds, got the easy kill, and then kind of from there, Wind and Rain at the back foot, losing their Ying.
That is a massive tool out the window now. Those Candelas are such great entry tools. Capitao on the roof here, trying to do his best, and it's an uphill battle for Wind and Rain, you feel, at this point in time. They'll have to be catching some people out of position as Capitao jumps down onto connector roof.
Yeah, it seems to be that Wind and Rain, they're kind of looking for this master bedroom. It's once they lose that Ying on the Candelas, it kind of just nullifies the effect of that potential kid's bedroom push. Dawi playing very aggressive in towards that connector. Has to be careful that potentially Jugger could rotate on up towards the big tower, get the easiest kill of the game, I would say, onto him. Mac also on the smoke will have to play pretty quick in this scenario. This is a great position for the smoke. Has the shock on the blast, very close range, and also could deny the plant, as we know, with those gas canisters. Madman looking for the roam, shoots a drone. Does he see Melons on the stairs? He does, but misses the shots. And Jugger, like I said, gets that flank onto Dawi. Looking for another one. Does he land the shots? He hits a couple, but is not going to be enough to finish off Melons.
Melons so low, already taking a lot of damage. Madman there as well, but it is a 5 versus 3 situation. It looks like the jaws are starting to close in. Tower into meeting hall is where Wind and Rain are trying to move, but they have just 40 seconds to play with here. And Tank Ninja's now also looking for a roam, moving back up towards that second floor. He does get picked off by Gigski there, but at least they know exactly where they are. And Gigski picks off 2, picks up to Madman. It's now a 3 versus 3 situation. Capitao does go down to the smoke, but the diffuser has been planted. 3 versus 1. Speeds now versus the world. Mac, Juggernaut, and Meads there. He does get his first kill. Doesn't get his second as he gets knocked off by Meads. And that will be it. That will be Unnamed. 6-0 versus Wind and Rain.
Well, another clean sweep that we have seen. Well, what really can you say about that? Unnamed just being the dominating factor against, Wind and Rain, just not up to snuff at all.